My name is Olivia Williams. I'm the Sales and Marketing Manager for the Enasoit Collection. I'm going to talk you through the second property and the final property in the Enasoit Collection, which is Enasoit Camp. I'm sorry, just 1 second. So Enasoit Camp is located in the heart of Laikipa. It borders two conservancies, Old Jogi to the north and the Loldigas to the east. And it needs to be booked on an exclusive basis. So not only do guests have exclusive use of the property, but they also have exclusive use of Enasoit Conservancy, meaning that you're getting a completely private experience with wildlife, which makes it one of the most special things. The way our rates work is a minimum of, or an exclusive use rate of up to 6, and we can take a maximum of 20 in camp. For me, the real wow factor is this incredible watering hole right in front of the main mess tent. Where we're located, we act as a natural wildlife corridor. So we get so much wildlife coming through, from huge herds of elephant to reticulated giraffe, grevy zebras. And what makes it so interesting is that kind of diversity. So seeing, a small warthog interacting with this massive herd of elephants just really makes for really interesting wildlife viewing. Not only is it the volume, it's also the proximity to the main mess tent. So you're getting a very close-up view of the wildlife, which makes it also really, really cool. It's one of those places where you don't have to go out necessarily on game drive. You can literally sit there in the main mess tent with granny or a 2-year-old or a baby and just watch all the wildlife right there in front of you. Getting there, we always recommend private charters. We have our own airstrip on Enasoit. And because we're dealing with small groups, because we're dealing with the likes of 6 to 8, up to 20, it makes so much sense just to private charter straight into the airstrip on Enasoit Conservancy, and then we're a 5-minute drive from the airstrip. For those wanting to fly commercial, then it's Nanuki, which is the nearest airstrip, and then it's an hour's drive away. In terms of conservation, we're a completely non-profit business. All the proceeds from Enasoit Camp go back into protecting Enasoit Conservancy and also looking after nearby communities. We have a school near Enasoit which we sponsor, and every year we sponsor a secondary school child who has a particular interest in conservation through their secondary school education, and a lot of the people that go through that program will then become guides or start working at Enasoit, which is also really lovely to see. In terms of guests getting involved, guests are welcome to bring crayons, colouring books, and go and give those to the children at the school. Or we also have a planting a tree initiative because we get a lot of elephant on Enasoit. So we encourage especially children that come to Enasoit to plant a tree during their stay and restore some of those trees that the elephants destroy. In terms of what makes us unique, it's this complete exclusivity. So this exclusive use of the camp and the 4,500 acre wildlife reserve. Guests that come to Enasoit also have access to the adjoining Loldiga Hills. So you've got not only exclusive use of Enasoit Conservancy, but you can also go into the Loldiga Hills. And during a 3-night itinerary, we would always do, say, a bush breakfast in the Loldiga Hills, which is completely included in the rates. So essentially, you've got just under 55,000 acres of wildlife reserve to enjoy. Also, the proximity to wildlife, as I mentioned, you're so close to these huge herds of elephant, these massive giraffe, and that really makes such interesting wildlife viewing. Everything's included, so it's part of the homely feel of Enasoit Camp that once you get there, everything's included, from game drives to night drives to bush dinners, bush walks. We have incredible giant mountain bikes for our adults and children to use. We've got 5 incredible horses for all levels of riding, from children to people that want to do longer rides into the Loldiga Hills. You can absolutely do that and meet up with the guests for breakfast. And all of our spa treatments are included, from facials, manicures and pedicures and massages, all included in the rates. Our staff are fantastic. A lot of them have been there for over 20 years and is a real testament to the family and the people that run the camp, offering a real personal touch and just incredible. As Anita mentions, I also take my children to Enasoit Camp, and I can hands on my heart say it's their favorite place. It's such a family orientated place. We have no age restrictions, from the youngest of babies to the elderliest of grandparents. It's a completely all-inclusive property. Great for group safaris. So what we do best, multi-gens and family travels, is really where we excel, and probably are sort of, yeah, where we get most of our clients, and just really, really, really good for that. Pete and Karen Glover have been at Enasoit for over 20 years. They've brought up their children there, had their children on Enasoit. And it's just a real testament to kind of the family orientation of the place. Karen handles all the reservations from Enasoit Camp, and knows that place inside out and backwards. So for any reservations for Enasoit Camp, contact Carrie, and for any reservations for Tusitiri Dal, contact Kirsty, and we'll share the details of those, both of those after the presentation. In terms of the layout, you can see we've got the main mess right in the middle, with the watering hole really being at the center of all the action. And then we have 6 identical tents either side of the main mess tent. These can either be doubles or twins. So if you've got corporate groups traveling together, we can actually make every single one of these tents into a twin as well. We also, the rooms are big enough to add 2 extra beds should you have multiple families traveling together, which makes it really good for family travel. Or if there is just one family, then they will go in the family tent, as you can see here in the bottom right image. We also have a games room and an on-site spa there as well. In terms of the layout, it's very much these comfy, cozy cottages, warm open fireplaces, really beautiful linens imported from Sweden, hot water bottles in the bed, and still very much the canvas feel, so mixed with wood permanent structure and a canvas to get that real sort of safari vibe. So here you can see the layout, the big seating area, lovely big beds, ensuite bathroom with a big veranda at the front. And then this shows you, bottom left-hand image shows you the picture of the family tent, which is slightly bigger. And if we move on to the next slide, which shows you the layout. So it's 2 ensuite bathrooms with an adjoining sitting area and veranda, and looks out slightly differently to the rest of the tents, which overlook the watering hole. What's also really lovely about Enasoit Camp is we have the separate pool house, which is a 5-minute drive away from camp, or you can take some exercise, take a mountain bike, which takes about 10 minutes, which is also really lovely, or you can go in a vehicle if you're not feeling like walking. And here it's this big tropical oasis, lots of beautiful plants. We have 2 additional cottages up here. So for camp, we can fit 16, and then if you've got really big groups of 20, the additional 4 will be located here. We rarely get groups of that size, so these are just used as day rooms, or to have your massage in, or for guides if you've got guides traveling with your guests. And a lot of the time, you'll come up here around 11:30, have lunch, and then spend the afternoon relaxing, reading a book, and then before heading out on a game drive around sort of 4:30. Facility-wise, we're completely off the grid. We are solely solar powered. We've got Wi-Fi throughout camp. We have a games room with croquet, table tennis, volleyball, and bowls. We have our spa that does facials and nail treatments, but you can have massages wherever you want. A small library, a vegetable garden. Our swimming pool is heated by solar. We have a beautiful campfire overlooking the watering hole, and we have everything you could possibly want for children: baby cots, high chairs, and extra children's beds. In terms of anything additional, this is where we're using a third party. So for helicopter excursions, that would be extra. We have all the animals on Enasoit other than rhino. We have applied for rhino, and it is the plan in the future, but at the moment we do not have rhino. So a lot of agents will factor in 1 day at Old Jogi, which is our neighbouring conservancy, and you'll just literally drive 10 minutes, not even see a road, straight into Old Jogi, and there you can experience rhino. So it is worth considering. Or you can do the same with Olpegita. It's just that Olpegita is a slightly longer drive away. You are actually going onto a road, and it's a 45-minute drive away. But depending on the client's preference, we would strongly suggest that agents book 1 day either in Old Jogi or Olpegita to see the rhino. You can also do e-biking if you want to do longer rides and you prefer not to use a mountain bike. We can organise for e-biking in the Loldaiga Hills. We also do all the cultural things, especially if clients haven't been to the Masai Mara before. We can organise for Masai dances. Children can do beading with the Masai women, and you can go and see Masai Manyata should you wish to. We can also organise things like boxing and yoga should people want to do more exercise during their stay. So this kind of sums up a typical day. We, with some mountain biking, we can do the Maasai Games for children, which is a really fun activity. We will always do a bush dinner, and I never think this photo does it justice. It's so beautiful. The staff go all out to set up this amazing, incredible bush dinner, and we would always do that for our guests. And we also have a sundowner rock where we would set up for sundowners at least one of the nights as well. And that's it.